wanting chocolate babies. I have clocked the likes and shares of posts that promote anything but the love and hope that you naively profess will heal the world. Many times I have sat, fists clenched, heart racing, stomach turning, teeth grinding whilst being told by those who are definitely not racist how that was then. Life is so much better for black and brown people now, like I should just calm down, shut up and stop making them feel so uncomfortable. I have been told that the killing of black men and women in America is not that bad and in no way comparable to terrorism or even racist by those who will never know the trauma of seeing kin with skin like theirs being hunted down like animals on a daily fucking basis. I wonder if those friends who told my brother that slavery was not any longer alive are still laughing now. It shouldn't take a CNN broadcast and some Facebook posts for you to believe that it's real. You've been hearing this for decades, but your eyes stayed shut and your lips stayed sealed. This is not a problem that just magically reappeared after long going away. Libya is not the only place that still trades slaves. What about the slaves of Mauritania? Chad, Sudan, the Congo, Mali, South Africa, the list goes on. So, with an estimated 40 million plus slaves being traded worldwide, contemporary slavery should never be denied. There are even slaves locked away in London basements being masqueraded as maids. Today, you may be shocked. But how long will that last? How long before I'm back seeing the Facebook walls of silence led by colourblind friends who scroll past fast, occasionally stopping to sign a pointless petition, asking a guilty government to do something about a problem that they helped to create in the first place? I want to smash those rose-tinted glasses straight off of your face and scream at you, but I don't. I can't. I can't explain my pain to those who only dare to care about it when it suits them. I can't explain my pain to those who don't really know the definition of racism. I can't explain my pain to those who cry white tears and become defensive, who silence me with their fragility and need to not be made to feel bad. Fuck your feelings.
Come on.
Today, I'm expressing mine, and if you don't like it, well, that's absolutely fine. I can live with that. Thank you.
Well, poets.
It's like our people get no respect. Every day another boundary gets overstepped. Life's better in the UK, but don't forget, overseas they put blacks on the lower step. They won't accept you as part of the buy-in. Your pay makes them rich, so they laugh when you're crying. Every day we hear about children starving and dying on the same piece of land where they're carving out diamonds. We just had a Caucasian Miss Africa. I can't make it up. She ain't even black enough. I'll be sincere, no offense to her character, but I believe that she's an illegitimate challenger. White girls are applauded for wearing Bantu knots. They can do what they want. Guess whose land we're on? The plans you've got revolve around the pound they own. So think business and boycott and found your own. It's like the struggle's too real. Not even in Africa, I'm talking about Brazil. They held the Olympics and I couldn't help but feel for the poor black families they were trying to conceal. Parts of Africa pay France out of fear. About 400 billion pounds every year. I ain't trying to front, but does no one see a problem? Sometimes I wonder what the fuck we're doing here. I read the thoughts of Marcus Messiah. Words on the page create a spark like a lighter. Marcus says slave, I'd rather be dead. I'll take my black to the green if it costs me my red. Martin said unite and got shot in his head. Malcolm said fight and got shot in his chest. Huey said survive and got stopped by the feds. So what should we be doing so as not to offend? I think what's more important is we watch out for each other. I open Instagram and watch the feds kill my brother. John Crawford, a toy gun had his prints and they shot him down. I ain't really been to Asda since. I cried for Eric Garner, got arrested at the protest. It made me realise that people march when they're hopeless. So me, I found a plan to be a black businessman. I'm working every chance I can so that I don't lose focus. Part-time, I write rhymes, trying to spark a light mind, hoping that I might find someone like me. I get working, networking, trying to find the best person, not yet certain who that person might be. Connecting like a hotspot, I don't give a foxtrot. I tell them don't watch what the others might do. Trust me, you're an activist if you start a black business and you spend your cash with some brothers like you.
Hello, poets.
YA.
Hello, poets.
YA. Informed, not Turkish, not
not Middle Eastern, not Arabian, not Persian, Greek. I must be some kind of Asian if it's too hard for me to portray in an obvious way. One specific race, then I can't possibly belong to any particular nation. I must be an alien. I might be Israeli, elusive, non-conclusive. Perhaps I'm Albanian or your mum's Caucasian. It was just that from again, and then I proceed to explain to them for their mind to make sense of where exactly my ancestry, family tree, history, mystery, detailed descriptions on how exactly I came to be living in this particular country. British supposedly, but occasionally they'll refer to me as a Paki, even though the terminology isn't exactly used properly, however derogatory to incorrectly describe someone of Pakistani descent. This could offend. Pakistan is the same country that my dad's Bangladesh went to war with in the outbreak of civil unrest, attest to his country's claim for independence. Bangladesh fought for liberation. And East Pakistan was said to have pursued it in a way then known as systematic elimination for those who fought for this separation from East Pakistan to start their own nation. So while I'm not offended, however offensive, I'll explain in a way I politely make reference to the fact there's a difference. This war went on to 71 where Pakistan surrendered and Bangladesh won, and although the mass murders are now less heard of, water aid doesn't effectively communicate the way the country I originates from genocidal rape. See, I come from a place where the women were taken and tortured and raped and impregnated and captive they'd make them, just to then say their offspring would enter the world the right race. So without being dramatic, it's the women held captive in these same systematic lethal war tactics that remind me of aspects I thought we'd surpassed. So I hope I don't bore you all when I talk of my past. Because prior to that, when East India was ancient with the Bay of Bengal, the French, Dutch, Portuguese traders arrived in missionaries in the 15th century when the British East India Country, a British-owned joint stock company, colonialised alongside these overseas traders until the attempted invasion of Alexander the Great then failed. Indians were still taken to different parts of the world as slaves in a less aggressive or non-disclosed way, and some still have no clue to this day, and all I'm trying to say is I can relate. Not exactly, just similarly. Not competitively, just simply. An example of how British history, of British colonialism and imperialism and how it's affected even me, where laws by the British Crown are imposed, and later the same countries it stole, fight and divide into countries of their own, where thousands of armies and leaders decide which villages pillage and how many die, and the very same countries then stand as allies, responsible for how many people survive, or the number of those killed in these mass genocides. It's undignified, it's unjustified, it's a crazy, crazy lie. We live in a time where we're fed lie after lie until they coincide, and yet we can't coexist. Feeding seeds of spite in the media, they write manipulating lies to say, right lies, we write the last line, right as a pastime, I write as a pastime of a past time. I can't be described, I can't be defined. I'm a direct descendant of some of these women. I'm more than that Asian and I'm more than that Indian. Why, A?
Slow poet.
Just for the love of it, life in the ton of bricks. I and I lyric ride with him track under it. For the man's in the land of suffering. Corners we come out, no towel chucking in. No man muscling, more hands knuckling. No man buckling, we warthogs rushing in. 9 pints of life got these bloods bubbling. Only small minds find these talk troubling. Heart rate doubling, dripping with adrenaline. Stand for something more.
For anything.
Babylon pressuring, negative messaging. No sleep on trees all night sessioning. Shots echoing, handcuff cutting in, jailhouse beckoning, jailhouse reckoning. In a this ghetto thing, we hiding Jekyllin. The great never make do, never settle in. Life threatening circles we stepping in. Intellect and exoskeletal toughening. Plot lost looking for bigger and better things. Work brain top of the food chain hustling. No mollycoddling, self-pity wallowing. Better get used to the bitter pill swallowing. Mom's hollering, pale death coloring. Time's up, too used to blind following. Lifetime reduced to time borrowing. Street life got young minds on other things. No God knowledge in. Times are troubling. The way we go on like we ain't worth governing. Uphill struggling. Don't get much out of life. And wonder why when we ain't put nothing in. So it is, man, a man keep coveting. Want reward without pain and suffering. If you know better, then do better. You become a man through pressure. Ain't nothing puzzling. Now look at the state that your brother's in. A drug-induced madman muttering. blame the ghetto, justify juggling, screw face posturing, predators locking in. The madhouse and crack house is pack out. Evidence that escapism is comforting. The grief stricken in, shot a rum kicking in. Lack a direction link to lack a discipline. The ton of brick subtle mix that we living in is liquid nitrogen to nitroglycerin. Stray cats play back the street whispering. When wise ones lock off, they keep listening and keep giving in. It's easy to be weak. Besides billing split, they don't bill a thing. Commit sins, big chains, big rings. Big plans, keep pockets fat, man like Michelin. Waste with the pistol in, battle Scarface with the stitches in. Role model youth man mimicking life with the high def video visioning. Is this what got the ghetto red hot and blistering? Far from simmering, the whole scene sickening. Switch play to your rib cage twisting in. Is this what it takes for make a man feel masculine? Imagining that they world can't come crashing in. Providing your mind with visual vitamins. My talk for your attention is riveting. I am Shaheed.
I often wonder about back then. Back then when workers worked along the River Thames in warehouses where sugar from the sugar cane came in, surviving a journey from the West Indies to West India dock. Back then, human treadwheels were the engines carrying cargo of ships so Londoners could enjoy delicacies like wine, coffee, and tea. I often wonder about people like Peter, the Negro man, the runaway servant from the new continent, the land of Jamaica. Age 31 said the advert in the paper, and 2 guineas rewards if you find him, wrote Andrew Bryan. He wanted Peter to get back to serving. But I wonder, did they ever find him? Standing here looking at my tainted history, reading the crimes you admit to me, it's all becoming less of a mystery. And as I place my hands upon this glass, staring at the metal work cast, leopard-shaped flask from Benin, and the heads of a Yoruba king, superb works of craftsmanship, no longer neglected by malnourished perceptions of perfection. This is perfection. But the slave traders, they did not cherish this. And the slave masters, they did not cherish this. Anthony Calvert and Thomas King, slave trading kings, preoccupied, providing venture funding, support for the army, and British banking. Now I look at my London life in a different light. I am stood on a dock of slavery and living in its legacy. My ancestors, they paid for me. This surname is what you gave to me. You told me this in a video installation clip. My countries were on that list. I saw the date, name and destination of each ship. So me, myself, I'm a product of this legacy. This is my home, but I'd like to go home. So I do wonder, where is my home?
The bell
Can I
rings!
tell you where your home is? Your home
Flow
is where your heart
poet,
is.
let's go!
Poet,
Flow
poet.
Let's go!
Poem.
The bell
Home
rings
is where
this
your heart
time!
is. Please, don't interrupt.
Another lesson taking time going idly by. We try to change our fates when walking through these iron gates into school. Stay true to your individuality even though everybody's dressed like you. But still, I guess we should be used to it, right? Because from the age of 5, we do a 9 to 5, 5 days a week spent in a classroom. The stress of trying to pass test after test for this protracted process of university entrance. We don't even need this content. Why do you ask? Not for the knowledge, but for the skills you acquire. Analytical skills makes employability higher. But still, you know what they say, knowledge is power. However, the education I need is that of the mind, allowing ideas and ambition to thrive. Why must I jeopardize what I know while someone else rapes? Oh, sorry, reaps those seeds sown to allow my knowledge to grow. I'm struggling for help. When I'm struggling for help, who do I turn to? No one knows the answer, so I resort to my phone. They say the problem is social media, but when I ask for help for my homework, they say look on Wikipedia. The minority is never a priority. They don't want to make this easier. I don't want to be complacent with regurgitation of information, no relevance as to how we run this nation. Politics seem to be a way to make changes, make better lives for all genders and races, but now it's just stern faces, briefcases. Don't worry, we're doing all we can to change this. You just sit tight and be patient while brothers are stabbing brothers just because they're from different places. It's failing. The system is failing. Yet some still think the government is going to save them. This pace was only made for those who can maintain it. You trip or you step off, you are done roadkill on the treadmill of life. There's got to be a way to fix this. Not with needles and stitches, but with concrete ideas, creative minds coming together like this. A congregation of wordsmiths, like Arthur and his round table, all present, all equal. Sounds good, right? So join me, fellow lyricists, warlocks, sages, kings, queens. Let us lead and be revolutionary. Are you ready to embark on this journey with me?
Yeah!
Then let's go. Bell rings, that's time.
Come on.
The darkest steps of the ether, live and direct through your speaker. I am she to awaken all the sleepers continuously through time and space, keeping it deeper, so deep in. I want to be within your spaceship interplanetarily. In there standing readily, sincere, planning steadily on how I'm ensure we grow up but grow young together. Stay childlike eternally and flow fun in the sun forever. Children of the stars, we supernova to this place here. Breathe life into the atmosphere, but now there's no more space here. Too many big heads, big noise and big egos. Too many hungry ones chasing the bullseyes and C notes. Too many master plans to destroy the prophets and the leaders. The geniuses, the ones who are clued up and the readers. Too many dividends, this hell mouth we living in, but we making heaven out of the sweet and the sour bitter end. That's why we glowing up through the Gideon, kicking it, ripping it with Naphtali, Benjamin and Simeon, and the other 9 sons of Jacob, waiting for the Hebrews and the chosen ones, them to wake up so we can unite and commence Babylon falling into chaos before they offer us the pledge, and if not, come to slay us. So let's watch it all unfold by dark night as we wave shalom to our family of angles of light on this dark night. Because he said my gift is magnanimous, my flow is fantabulous, abracadabra for the demons who think they have a chance at grabbing us. We stay protected from our enemies and nemesis, from Revelation to Genesis. We got next. There's no sidestepping this. We setting this, written in stone tables like Care Paravel, riding lions and unicorns, escaping from carousels, soaring the skies, exploring the night, pouring the wine libations and restoring the light, searching for the missing note because I heard there was a secret chord that David played and it pleased the Lord. Sing hallelujah, sing praises unto the Almighty. You can try fight me, but like I said, I keep hedges of protection round about me. 8-winged angels creating a chrysalis around me. I chrysalis, preacher, pastor and reverend in my bloodline. Rest in heaven, Leonora, grandma. Always had the punchlines. I punch rhymes and beat up the beat. I beat it like MJ. Knowledge told Mitchell that I'm the woman equivalent to Sensei, and he breaks pens and fractures quills in the process when seeing words on the back of his eyelids. Super conscious, sleep talking with the progress. Some shoot rock and some smoke cess. Acquiring the lungs of a dragon like Merlin. The magic, maybe one should smoke less. Breathing the fire of ya, melting the outer crust of countless moons and dog stars to form source to fight victorious wars in the cosmos. Extra galactic, autodidactic. We teach ourselves to overcome these battles, maneuvers and tactics. Collecting medals for valor like a young woman I'm acquainted with. See the colours that I'm painting with hues that you can't fathom. Grey to dark matter, I move like a phantom in the shadows of the dark side of the moon. Moving through portals and houses like Enoch, so I'll see you soon. Transcending space and time, ascending as I place these rhymes in the core of your consciousness and your philosopher's stone. So that you can relearn about yourself and God every time you dive deep in your zone, sparking memories of the future and premonitions of the past, extrasensory perception of the present, so the concept of time will last. I chitter-chatter and manipulate matter. See the forces of evil scatter from this Christ-conscious rap. Come on!
Big voice, please, big voice.
Flex!
Bigger.
Volume.
South Sudan.
Come on.
South Sudan became an independent country
Say it.
on the 9th of July 2000.
2011. My father, he left me a piece of land, and the only instruction in his will was to make every tiny piece on earth my heaven. So with that being said, it has always been my will to one day go back to where I came from, go back to my country, go back to my home. But if home is truly where the heart is, then I am just a homeless man begging for change. Right here, right now, on this stage, my heart lays hollowed out like this empty hat, waiting for you to put your 2 cents in. These words, a thick skin layered daily with dirt, each brand new cell that grows underneath it's always a little bit stronger, yet somehow more damaged than the first. And this shirt does nothing to protect me from your cold stares. If home is truly where the heart is, then from your cold
Where's he gone?
there's nothing to protect me from your cold stares. If home is truly where the heart is, then I am just a homeless man begging for change. Sudan, a place that I carried in my womb, that was allowed to gestate for only 730 days before rebirthing this premature nation of displaced children with casket wooden fathers. There is nothing harder than a mother forced to bury her own kin. There is no martyr that can justify the killings that they've carved into the hieroglyphics of this history. And now, regrettably, every love language in me has been rewritten. So now I can only touch upon words that affirm these heavy gifts of despair passed on from the dishonest acts of servicemen that swore to protect but were never really there. It's funny how you swore to protect, but in retrospect you never once gave a fuck about any oath to the father's crown. When the militia came around, where were you when the rebels burnt down my mother's town? What about the ashy gums that bled on thick soil when those faces hit the ground of this place I call home, called my baby, my own? I regret the day I gave you up for adoption. I regret the day I let strangers, as strangers, I let them I regret the day I let strangers, as strangers, I let them climb into our crevices whilst you parked your dreams on busy streets. And normally I would watch you sleep, but that night I did not hear the cries, that bedroom door creaked, did not hear the breathless footsteps of critique sneak beneath our melanin sheets and hit snooze on our memories. You kept telling me to get up, and I didn't. And now I regret every morning school run I ever skipped out on, because where I'm from, education is the key to success. So in that same breath, sending your kids overseas is the difference between life and death. If home is truly where the heart is, then I am just a homeless man begging for change. Right here, right now, on this stage, my heart lays hollowed out like an empty hat, waiting for you to put your 2 cents in and tell me, where do we go from here?
Big up, big up, big up.